us when you are ready to begin.
Just a little. I made a little
She's
model.
going to introduce it. Tell her.
She didn't put it on right. Oh, whatever. I'll just take this. This is just some of them. So my learning goal is on protozoa in third grade language. It's one. Lights, camera, action. Just want to start right away. Okay. I did my learning on protozoa in third grade language, one-celled animals. First, I'm going to tell you about Antoine van Leeuwenhoek. He's a very famous scientist. He's very famous for discovering protozoa and being the first ever person to look at a red blood cell. This is van Leeuwenhoek's handcrafted microscope. And protozoa are one-celled animals, and the cell structure is pretty much the same for all the cells. There's the fat droplet that stores the food. The nucleus and nucleus, they sound a lot alike, but they store the genetic information. The mitochondria that stores the energy of the cell, and the food vacuoles that digest the cell. So this is like the stomach. And they eat pretty much the same too. At first, the cell sees the food, then it makes a gap in itself and swims forward, so the food is in the gap. It closes the gap and makes a chamber and sends the food vacuola to pour into the chamber and digest the food into two groups, the waste and the stuff it needs. The stuff it needs goes to the fat droplet, but the waste, it just opens the gap and lets it go wherever, even though it's not alive at night. And when a cell is big, it divides into halves, and those halves grow bigger, and they divide into halves, and they get bigger, and you could go on like that forever. Now I'm going to tell you about my favorite one-celled animal, Lumblia. It's my...
Do you want to use the pointer so you can step away a little bit, and then they'll be able to see?
This is Lumblia, as you can see, because it has the name right here. I like it because it has two of everything. And it looks like a miniature head with legs. Like a little alien. This is a drawing on the computer, and this is a real picture.
It kind of looks like a head with cords coming out of its nose.
I know. It does look like a nose. And here it is. I made one on my model. And the cool thing about it really is that it has two of everything. And there's some stuff like the food vacuola, which they're not just one. Because see on the picture there too. And this would have four if there were two in it. But I'm not sure how many food vacuolas it had, the average amount is, but it's like a lot. Now I'm going to tell you about a nova. It's pretty cool because it's a little microscopic blob. It moves by putting its weight onto so if it wants to go forward, which way it wants, so let's say it wants to go that way. Here is it would put all its weight on one side, and it would kind of slide through the water that way. All of them live in the water. Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you about the one that I hate the name of because it's really long. Paramecium caudatum. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. There are two things that are really cool about it. First thing is that it moves by using its eyelash-like tentacles. They're like little legs, and there are millions of them. And think about it. This whole thing is microscopic. It's impossible to see. Just think how big those eyelash-like things would, how small those eyelash thing would be. Like this is like gigantic. This picture is like magnified. Like let's say this is magnified 1,000 times. This is magnified like 3,000 times. Okay. And here's the real pictures, and those are the eyelashes. The other cool thing about it is that it's shaped like a footprint with no toes. You could like
a shoe.
Yeah, it's a slipper, kind of like. In Russia, it's called a shoe. It's just called a shoe because it's shaped like a shoe.
Why do you call it a real shoe?
A shoe. And I think it's really cool because it's shaped like a shoe and it has that eyelash-like thing. This picture doesn't really look a lot like a shoe, but it still looks like someone fat made this foot.
It's like a big round foot.
This is like magnified like, I don't know, 5,000 times, 4,000 times. Because this is like giant. This is Evglena, and they are the reason why swamps are green. It's not seaweed, that's what makes swamps green. They're little animals, they're as tiny as all of them, even though you might think it's a little lily pad-like thing that swim on top of a pond or something that make it green, but actually it's Evglena that makes the swamp green. And it's really cool, and that's a cool fact about it is that to move, it uses its tail. It winds it up like a screw, and then it pushes it like a spring, and it goes through the water. So they all live in water. And I chose the ones that live in water because they're kind of alike. See, they have the same body structure, except for Lumblia, it doesn't have the energy source, mitochondria. I'm not sure where it stores its energy, but it doesn't have mitochondria. And I'm going to say always wash your hands, because if you eat a Lumblia or any of them, you might get amoebias. You could see that it sounds a little like amoeba because you usually get it from amoeba. How you get it is you drink water from a pond or something. So always drink water that's been washed or filtered at least. So never drink from ponds and that kind of stuff. You probably know that. That's pretty easy to understand. And they don't live in pools. They do not. Because pools, they clean them with special stuff.
Chlorine.
Chlorine, that's what it's called. Yeah, and they cannot live in that. And if they even were there, they would live like for 1 second. And Lumblia likes to live on vegetables. So always wash not just your hands, but also vegetables. And fruit, just in case. And the amoebias is a little hard to cure because it's like a big stomachache. Why it's hard to cure is because Lumblia, when you eat the medicine, it will just turn into a cyst, and the cyst is like unbreakable. It's really hard to get rid of them because they always turn into cysts. And you have to really eat that medicine when they're in the form of a Lumblia. Because they just like, let's say it's a suit of armor. Yeah. If you get chopped by a sword and a suit of armor, nothing would happen because it's a suit of armor. But if you're chopped when you're just walking around in normal clothes, you'll die. But they are like in the stomach. If they start feeling like you're eating medicine or they're being threatened, they would just turn into a cyst, and also they would turn into a cyst while they're just in water or on vegetables. And I think Umbly is the only one who could live not in water out of those. But, I mean, they could survive without water, but they usually live at least right next to water. And now I brought presents for everyone. For everyone who listened, and all of you listened.
I hope you're not the wall didn't listen. The wall didn't listen.
Oh no, not. Well, yeah, the wall doesn't get anything. Yeah, wall, you don't get anything.
The school doesn't get anything, just the class.
Anastasia, would you like to, can we give you a round of applause and do comments or questions first off? Let's do that and then we can end with this.
And I just want to show how all this stuff works I'm going to give you because it's a little, like if you got, let's say you got one of this, you might think it's medicine, but it's not. It's a towel. You put water on it and it turns into a towel. This.
A big one? A big
Well,
one?
it's this big.
Whoa.
Whoa. And also, you get can I just tell what they are?
Sure.
And you'll also get a soap flower. You put it in your bathtub and you smell good after your bathtub. And your bathtub smells good.
That's very nice of you.
Smelling good for
All right, Anastasia, you know the first mandatory question, but why don't you wait until the audience is totally ready? They're excited now. All right.
I did my learning on one-celled animals because, well, in Russian school, we learned about spineless animals like jellyfish that don't have a spine or bones or insides. And then we got to our unit called one-celled animals, and it really seemed like the best unit in 3rd grade in Russian school. And I guess I really liked it because it was like our last unit of science. Now we moved on to Russian history, but I really liked it, so I really wanted to remember it, so I did this. And also, Miss, I'm going to answer your question. What am I going to do with this? When I become a paleontologist, like all of you know, to figure out how old a bone is, there is this, I forgot, it's like this kind of microbe thing, and how many of them they are, and how old they are. That's how scientists learn how old something is. Because any living thing has that bacteria on them, and when it dies, the bacteria is still left on the bone. And that's what I'm going to do.
What a great answer.
Okay,
right.
I'll do girl, boy, girl. I start with Emma.
I think this was put together well, and I think I liked your choice.
Thank you. Now I'll pick a boy, I guess. I'll do Colton.
Where did you start the project? Where did you start it, and why would you start it where you started it?
Well, I started by looking on the internet for a picture of Antonio when living one because I really wanted to know how he looks and how he's in a long wig. My sister said it's Susan. She named him Susan. She said my learning goal is about Susan.
So you were talking about the board, like how she did the board?
Yeah.
The board is really
So I went like
clear and
this,
easy to read.
like this, and like this. So
Really well planned.
Yep.
All right.
And my mom helped me with the internet. And now I'll pick a girl. Yeah, no.
How did you find all this information? What websites did you go?
I went to Wikipedia, then I checked it on Google, and then I checked it in my Russian study stuff. Yeah.
So
And
resources.
The biggest one-celled animal, how big do you think it is, guys? Let's see.
Think about the hints that she's given her.
It's one-celled. And
I think it's
Kennedy got it. This is how big. I traced this on. I did I first took a picture of it and it said 20 centimeters. So I took a ruler, measured out 20 centimeters. Here it is. This is how big it is.
And it's one-celled, kind of like that.
Yes,
that
it
cell
is
structure
one
over
cell. So you put it's a coral kind of thing, but it doesn't have a skeleton or anything because skeletons are made out of a bunch of cells. So none of them have skeleton or bones or anything. So this, if it dies, there won't be a skeleton left. So, Miss.
Bonus teacher question. Are these, you say one-celled animals. Who thought of animals when they looked at this?
I think it was living things because they are animal. They look like, especially those. They look like animals. Especially those look like little people because those look like two legs, like two eyes, and you know.
It does.
They do look like animals. Some of them look a lot like real animals. Like this looks a lot like a human. This is like not the. I guess this is the closest it gets, but it's still they look like that.
In the picture, it looks like it's an old man that's white mustache.
I know.
So the question that I was leading to is kind of what is their job? Are they decomposers? Are they what do they do? And what happens if we don't have them? Like what if the environment got bad and it couldn't support them anymore? Like what's their purpose?
First thing I'd say is they started out life, so your 300 millionth grandma was one of them.
Do you understand what she's saying though? Remember in the evolution book? Everybody starts off as, okay, and tell us what's their purpose?
And their purpose, some of them are pests. They just get you sick. Some of them are decomposers, and some of them are cooking ingredients, like to make bread. Remember, Sarah said there's those microbes that make it puffy, called yeast. Yes, yeast. Well, those microbes help cook, and they're sold in special bags because people they look like powder when you open the bag, but actually every little piece of powder is like not 3 million, a million maybe of those. But every bag I'd say is a lot, like more than a million. Trillion.
Good presentation and good answers. Can we give another round of applause? Anastasia, for the little prizes, can you put those in mailboxes? How about that?
Can I just show them how the towel thing works?
Yes. Is it reusable? Does it get small and then get
No.
get small?
No, it's only, you could use it only one time.
But you can only grow it one time?
Yeah, like you could grow it once. So look, you take this. Sometimes